Hi everyone, hi. So over this past Lionsgate portal, we have literally collectively entered into a new energetic space, a new toroidal field. So let's see what this week has in store for us. Welcome everyone. For those who are new, we look at the visible sky over here. We use astronomy to interpret our astrology. So these will be the luminary positions in the actual visible sky, and it is a bit different to mainstream astrology. So there are videos down below which explains why I choose the sky. To me it just makes a bit more logical sense if we're talking about astrology to actually look up in the sky. So of course, never believe or take my word for it. I'm saying this is where the luminary positions are, but don't trust me. Download an app yourself, use the internet, grab a calendar, as you can see. So if you're used to mainstream astrology, you would have already thought it's Leo season, but on the 11th of August today, the sun has literally entered Leo. Again, check online, I'm not gassing, this is where the actual sun in the sky is. So, based on the visible sky, we'll take a look at what's coming in store. We've literally entered a new toroidal field, people, passing through. It's not necessarily the Lion's Gate, because we're basically, the sun enters in Leo. No, I mean the 11th today. So it's not really like a Lionsgate portal. However, we can't ignore the fact it was an 8th day, most importantly. And if you're going with the Gregorian calendar, of course it was the 8th day, not exactly the Lionsgate portal, because the sun isn't even in Leo. So it's just the 8-8 day. There's actually 88 star constellations in the sky. So I find that powerful. But most importantly, it's the 8th day. This is a whole toroidal field. Okay, it's a whole toroidal field. And we've entered into a new one. So it's like, okay, how is life gonna be? I've been talking for a minute. I says we're having like a whole tipping point coming. The seeds we've been planting since the beginning of this year is coming. We're beginning to reap the rewards of our seeds, basically. So for those who are new, a little long introduction, but for those who are new, we usually talk about the transits that are happening. We then move into the moon transits. We then clarify with some tarot, and then we come back to the present moment, because the present moment is all that truly matters. So without further ado, what transits are happening this week? And last point, I do give personal readings if ever anyone is interested. I've done like an example for XRP, and Bitcoin's one is coming out soon, like this weekend is coming. And I link astrology to crypto, so if anyone's kind of interested in that, feel free to go ahead. So let's start. On the 13th, we have Venus retrograde it's moving from Leo into Cancer on the 13th. It's moving back, it's retrograding back on the 13th. And then we have, let's take a look, what else is happening? So we have retrograde on the 13th. We have a no moon, new moon, as you see. We'll go through the moon phases after. And then we have Mars entering. Where's that? Virgo. If anyone doesn't know like the symbols and you're interested in the calendar, it's a perfect piece of equipment to use, because you've got it all there. It teaches you, so you're not really going into it blind. Was that the 18th? Yeah. So we have Mars moving into Virgo on the 18th. So what is this telling me? What is this telling me, especially in relation to the whole toroidal field? The moon, yeah, I need you to pay attention over the past few days up until literally the beginning of today. How have you been feeling? How have you been feeling? And has it literally been, have your emotions been moving you towards something new, something different? Yeah, I'd really like to know that. If it has, let me know in the comments. But anyway, moving on to Venus. So Venus, if you don't know, Venus represents our material values. It represents the number 6 being the 6th day, it represents what we value in our material reality, and that makes us want to experience it. So that is Venus. It covers obviously love, money, and anything we hold as valuable within our material reality. And it's moving back into Cancer. It was in Leo before it decided to retrograde. Not decided, but before it retrograded. So it's like within our material reality was more we were focused more on like the confidence in whatever it is you're doing, but more of a confident way, more shining, more showing up, or knowing that that's what you want to do. Now it's like it's moving back into what supports your home and structure. So it's like we're going over retrogrades offer going back over, looking back. It's like, okay, I didn't get to do this, let me do it now, within your home and family. Now if you go back to my Cancer videos probably about 3 weeks ago, the past, like, well, I was talking about like a tipping point. I've mentioned it in my videos, like that's the title, and then the couple videos after that, a lot about this Cancer energy, and we were focused a lot on what supports us, like Cancer being fueler of the 4th house. It's based around home and family. You've got like it is the yin and yang, kind of like Pisces. It is the yin and yang, as you can see in its symbolism, and it's like it protects itself from the outside, and inside it's soft. So it's what supports the home. It's what protects you, what supports you, what makes you feel comfortable within your life right now. Okay, so it's basically we're looking at, or we're tapping into the energies with Venus and Cancer. We're tapping into the energies of basing our material value, so wanting to only experience things within our material and interact with it if it supports your home and structure. So if you've been dealing with anyone or entertaining anything, a job, or it could be anything that doesn't really support you, could be a whole idea, it's like, no, that's not how I want to live out my material reality, Venus. That's not how I want to please my 5 senses, Venus, because that doesn't support who I am, if you know what I mean. Like the home, ultimately it's you being your own home, your own vessel. It's what supports you. And yeah, so we're going over that. If you've experienced anything where you're like, no, wait, no, that's a no from me, we're getting to go over it, tap back into them energies, and wrap it up. So basically you may then be getting people coming into your life who supports your home and structure, because basically it didn't happen before, so it's retrograded, giving the people that time. And because I see we live in like a symbiotic relationship, it's kind of like everyone's doing their thing, and you, like a web, it's like you kind of meant to meet up and connect, and there's a whole spark, and that's like how we interact with people. But it's like, because there's so much of us and it's a web, it's like, oh, we didn't get around to doing a certain thing, so these retrogrades offer, oh, we're gonna go back, which then ironically you happen to meet up with certain people or have certain interactions because that person's ready and this person's ready. It's like, this is what retrogrades offer. So based around people's idea of a home, family, love, support, how they would people's idea of it, if they didn't get around to doing it, they're trying to do it now. So grand gestures may come, and even more so because we do have Leo energy, which I spoke about last week. But because the sun, which represents our ego, is now in Leo, literally coming to our actual physical experiences are gonna be bold experiences may be coming to you, very bold, very confident experiences, very like experiences that, how can I put it, that shine. If you know, I'm literally just explaining the Leo qualities, but it's these type of experience I'm literally seeing your ego will now begin to attract to you, because the sun is in Leo. So with that being said, if you've got anyone, for example, who's just like, yeah, I want to do this or give this to someone, blah blah blah, it may come about in a very bold way that happens to support your home and structure and what you're truly about. Something that, like, Cancer's very sentimental. It's very like, what are you about? It's very personal. So this is why I'm seeing there may be an influx of new relationships. Now, not just romantic, platonic as well, work relationships too. I'm kind of seeing that coming about in a bold way. So even if you're getting just like, whoa, that's a very good offer, like that's all the Leoness probably being recognized more for how you are and how you naturally shine, that might be coming up. And it's kind of like what is coming to you supports now. So if you had things slipping through the net and it's like, nah, that really wasn't the case, it's like we're going back into it and it's like, okay, we're getting a little redo. People now have that time capacity to make those connections. If people come into your life, let me know. It's going to be interesting, and especially if they come into your life and they support what is home and structure to you. That's going to be hella interesting. Right, Mars moving into Virgo. So what I'm seeing there with Mars moving into Virgo, Mars represents our drive and our passion. It's the flame that kind of gets us up and gets us to move, in essence. And for the whole time it's been in Leo. So you might have been, over the past 4 weeks, 5 weeks, maybe even 6, because I'm sure Mars stays in a sign for about 2 months. So about 6 or so weeks, you probably had to move in a way where you just had to show up more confident. You had to be confident in what you were doing and the direction you were going in. Yeah, and it's like the confidence that you potentially had to show, you kind of possibly had to come from a or it was coming from the heart center, because Leo does represent the heart center. So in essence, it's coming from a pure place. So this may be like goal oriented. You've probably seen, oh, this is where I want to be and I know that this is what I have to do. So you were showing up confidently, okay? But now this showing up confidently and blah 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 is moving into analytical Virgo. So our drive and our passion now is going to be based around more research. So if you've been feeling or you needed to research a lot more, that's literally just come through channeling this, then trust yourself. If you've been like, oh yo, I've started to fall into different opportunities where it's like, I'm gonna have to do research and look at all the different angles, then trust yourself. This is going to be your driving passion until, let's take a look, until where's Mars, until October. As you can see, October 24th, this one's looking at the sky, it's gonna be in there till 24th of October until it moves into Libra. So this is basically till the end of October. We're going to be very analytical, which is kind of telling me from October into November we'll be putting in action and effort. We'll be putting in a lot of action and effort towards what we are searching and researching now. And I've said research because, I don't know, I feel this is part of the whole synchronization, the whole toroidal field, the whole everything. It's like people have entered a new toroidal field, you're going to do something different. We're being, right now as this different is phasing in, we're shining confidently about it. But our movements will be moving in a very analytical way. Like I says, Virgo, getting onto the Virgo now, it's known as the maiden. Virgo is very analytical, it's very, pays attention to all the details, is very decisive, so it can take its time, can be a bit slow at moving because you're looking at all the details, because Virgo wants to make sure she is giving of herself, giving her love in the best way possible. So this is the moves and the energies we're tapping into, the way our drive and our passion, the thing that will kind of get us up and moving, that like that that sparks our interest to go in that direction, will be analytical in nature. So that sounds like research, something's gonna come up which is helping you enter into this new toroidal field. Remember, I don't know if you know, I don't know if you're about, but we're talking about a big timeline shift. If you've heard anyone say anything, they came out with November. Now, I don't like sticking to dates because they've been talking about dates for time and they've been wrong. However, how like the sky and the natural sky is aligning up, I'm like, something's interesting here. We're in a whole new toroidal field. The moon confirmed it, which I'll get back into when we touch on the present moment. But yeah, so it's like entering into this new field, this new energetic field. We're all feeling big change anyway. We're starting off being very analytical about it. We're going to be looking at the details of something. So if you're about to research to get to your next level in whichever area, whether work, even if I guess if it's partner, because Mars, it can be how you give of yourself, being the more masculine energy. So the way people are naturally will be giving, they're going to be cautious of how they're going to be giving. So I guess you can trust more during this time. This is important. This has just come through to me. You can trust more how people are giving from this point on, because once it's going to take them a while to decide. Basically, if they have chosen to give to you, they've taken time to decide that. Okay, especially whilst Venus is there, it's like they've chosen to give after they've got the natural energies to just look at all the details to make sure they're doing it, and they choose to give in a time when Venus is retrograding in Cancer. So I'm kind of saying, don't be blindsided or just trust anyone, obviously, but the people potentially coming in now, whether it's business, romantic, platonic, family, friend, you can trust them. They're potentially there. They're potentially going to support whatever this is and whatever your ideal and vision is in your new toroidal field. Yeah, so I'm seeing trust them, trust yourself. If you're doing research for something, if you've naturally been led in that direction, just trust. Yeah, and if you're doing whatever to where you're just like, yo, I need to look at all the details, then pay attention, because of course this is the beginning of the Virgo energy, but as the rest of the luminaries transit through it, we're going to get more of this energy coming up. So this is just the beginning of it. So I'll just say, just trust yourself, lad. Just trust yourself. Right, moving on to the moon phase is now the moon transit. We started off, this starts from the 13th, so it does finish in Gemini, but we're not in Gemini yet, or we're in it now. We're in Gemini now, I think, because by the time you watch this video, the moon will be in Gemini, but it finished in Taurus, which is the toroidal field. So, but on the 14th, we move from Gemini into Cancer, from Cancer into Leo, and then we finish in this Virgo energy. And again, I find it interesting. New moon, no moon. Leo, it is a Leo new moon, no moon. So what is this all telling me? Anyway, the moon being the mover of our emotions, the beginning of the week. So the moon gets our energy moving, our emotions moving. So you get happy, excited, you get angry, frustrated, you get inspired, you get sparked, you get inspired, it's all of that. And that then gets your emotions moving, which then feeds your sun technology. I see all as technology. It feeds your sun technology, which then attracts experiences into your reality, your individual reality, your individual hologram, depending on your point of view. So that is how I see the moon. So it gets our emotions moving, the energy moving, and it's moving from Gemini. So I'm seeing at the beginning of the week as Venus enters Cancer. Was I all up? This is my face in the camera then. Anyway, I'm a bit close to the camera, a bit close and personal. But anyway, there's Black Panther on the floor. So, oh gosh, Stessa. I'm basically seeing the beginning of the week, Sunday, maybe a lot of communication from now, as you're watching this, up until Sunday, I'm seeing communication. I've noticed when the moon is in Gemini, we may just be given the opportunity, or you give someone else the opportunity to talk and express themselves. I found that I talk a lot, or I really just get what's off my chest, like, oh, this is what it's the message. It's like, pay attention to the message that comes up. Your emotions are moving you. Gemini is fueled by Mercury. Mercury is the messenger, so your emotions are being moved in a way where you just want to share a message, or it's like you want to communicate, you want to express yourself. So pay attention at the beginning of the week. Of course, what if you are a bit chatty, or if you're the person to offer someone else the opportunity to express and talk, and you are the listening ear. That's how I found Gemini moon transits at times. Keep in mind as well, because we are moving to a no moon, new moon, we're moving towards being more logical and rational within our thinking. So keep that in mind. It's not really trusting our intuition or our dreams per se. We are moving logical. And again, I find it more amazing because as we've entered a new toroidal field now, we'll be moving in a different way and touching base back into what truly supports us, yet we're moving in a more logic way. So trust your thoughts, trust what you're thinking, trust your logical conclusions, I'd say, round about this time. So again, if anyone is to kind of come into your life, you can trust yourself to be just like, is this worth it? Does this support my goals? Does this support my work? Does it support it? And you're naturally just moving more logical, and it's more just like, if it don't support that, you're just not really giving it time anyway. So you'll be like, no. And again, as the moon moves into Cancer from the 14th, I'm seeing even more like you're moving more logical in reasoning, and your emotions will be moved around things that support you. So basically, if it angers you, something angers you around about here, it's like, pay attention, because that doesn't support you. Your emotions were moved in something that angered you. So no, whatever comes up here that tries to kind of like, yeah, I'm supporting your actual values within the material, if it angers you, it's a no. If it excites you around about this time, it's a yes. And trust yourself, because we're moving more logical. Okay, trust yourself. And as we are moving more logical, it moves into Leo, and that is the no moon, new moon. So that's where it's fully happening. So it being in Leo, it's kind of like, and it being a no moon, new moon, I'm seeing the way you're ready to show up confidently. It's kind of like bringing in the sun energy now. So it's like the way you're ready to begin to actually shine confidently, and how you're actually going to attract these experiences where you naturally shine. So this could literally be just like, oh, yo, I'm doing amazing at work now, or I'm doing amazing in my online, I'm doing, it could be anything, and my relationships are going amazing. It's like our emotions are going to move in a logical way on how this is going to come about, potentially, how you're just going to flourish as being you, you know what I'm saying? because it's not easy to just shine and just be like, yo, this is who I am, like being that Leo energy. It takes confidence, you need it. So I'm just seeing, however you're ready to attract these Leo experiences into your life, basically how your emotions is moving you around about the 16th. You can trust yourself, and again, it is in the darkness, so in essence, like, this is where the seed is potentially planted. And as we then move, the moon then moves into Virgo on the 19th. Again, I find it amazing how it all syncs up. The moon, the mover of our emotions, moves into Virgo on the 19th, just after Mars moves into Virgo. So it's, again, it being in the no moon energy, you're more logical based anyway, so it's kind of like your emotions are moving you in a way that's more logical, and it's kind of like it's bringing in this Mars and what is it, Virgo energy. This moon this moon transit is bringing in this energy in a very logical way. So this is why I'd say trust yourself even more, I'd say, on your passion and drive, like the direction you're ready to go. If that is research, if it is just going over things, looking at all the details for your business, you're looking at the details of any person coming into your life, I'd just say trust yourself. It's logical. It's based off logic, the way your emotions are moving, so that direction and how you're going to do whatever this is. Again, trust yourself. It will come to you at the right time. It's kind of like this moon, your emotions are moving in this way to kind of kickstart that off. So if you've been getting any inclinations, just like, oh, I really need to look into this or start this or or I really need to go back and fully like study or look at the details or research, if emotions come up around that time, or if you've been feeling it like little drops here and there, and if it happens to come up even more round about the end of this week, I'll just say trust yourself, and that's probably the cue to begin to act on it. Because I see that that's how all this energy thing works. We get little glimpses here and there, and it's just like it pops in as a thought, as like, oh yeah, I need to do this. We get that for a while, and it's not anything being like lazy of, oh, I've had the thought and I've not started it. It's because the energies are sinking in. Okay, so if the thoughts are popping up, trust yourself, hold it there, and then when the time is right, like energetically within your DNA, you'll just naturally have the time to look into them things. Ironically, you'll start seeing it like attract to you. You'll probably see it online, something you've been looking for. So just trust yourself, trust the cues, and just know as your emotions begin to move you in that direction, yeah, you can trust yourself. Your emotions will begin to move you, and you see by the time this sun moves into Virgo, which is in the middle of September, until the whole of October, so that is Virgo. Yeah, it's important to know that Virgo is one of the biggest star constellations in the sky, so every luminary takes the longest time in Virgo. So that's why it starts in the middle of September and it's there till the whole of October. Literally, Libra comes in at the beginning of November the 1st. So these energies are starting to kick in, to brew, so to say. So when the sun, the ego, which is your actual present in that time right now experience, when it moves into there, the middle of September, you'll start to notice these energies actually kicking in. So it's just kind of beautiful to see this. I've been doing it for like 6 months now. Well, I know, almost a year. Well, when we reach October, I started October last year, and I'm starting to see like the synchronization and the dance of it all. It is amazing. Right, tarot clarity now. Let's just see if I'm gassing or if I'm chatting. Whew. You know what? I've just thought, I think I've done like the other thingamabob, and I didn't do like for the month. We've got the King of Cups, can we clarify that for next week? So having this no moon, new moon in Leo, Venus entering Cancer, and Mars in Virgo. Oh, what's happening here? Can we clarify that? Any ending? This makes sense though, but can we clarify? We've got the Knight of Cups as well. Any last message, or is that it for next week? That makes sense. Oh, last one, Queen of Cups. So what is all of that saying? That Nine of Cups is interesting. Nine of Swords. So we've got a lot of cups though. King, Knight, and Queen. And then the Nine of Swords. I'm going to read the Nine of Swords first. So we've got sleepless nights, guilt, overwhelmed with worries, wishing if only, regretting the past, obsessive thinking, refusing to forgive. That is interesting. That's interesting. Reason being, because this whole Virgo energy coming in, something kind of needs to happen for us to make sure. Oh, I need to look at the details for something. And make sure. So if this is like a person or anything that you're regretting over, or a decision, it could be a decision, but it makes sense if something just doesn't go quite your way. Something is obviously being illuminated in a, well, not illuminated, something will come up with the no moon, new moon, because that's something new. So it's like something old had to go away, this disappointment, before I'm guessing all these cups are coming in, because we've got cups too. So what are the cups saying? What are the cups? The cups saying? I just looked then, I was like, damn, have I even pressed record? Thankfully I have. Oh, that would have been, I would have cried. I legit just would have cried. So we've got the Knight of Cups. I'll read this first in order. Idealization, over emotional, in love with love, temperamental, exaggerated feelings, emotional rescue, victim savior mentality. So I'm seeing with the Knight of Cups, emotions are just a little bit up and down. I'm seeing something's coming in and we're potentially trusting, like, is it actually going to support this? Because maybe something from the past is coming up, like we didn't do the best thing here and it's going away. So you've potentially already done this, okay? And it's just realizing like, oh shit, damn, I probably shouldn't have, you know. And you get to a point, it's just like, whatever. But yeah, like emotional, maybe just emotional. Someone or something's coming in this week. We then got the Queen of Cups, tender-hearted, compassionate, feeling moved, unconditional love, knows what it feels like to feel, willing to help the underdog. And then lastly, the King of Cups, being stability, wisdom, diplomacy, generosity, keeping your head in a crisis, broad-minded and tolerant, and accepting your limitations. Okay. So definitely with this accepting limitations, I'm seeing this Cancer energy. Did he say it's going? Oh, ignore me. It's just knowing what you can and can't do. Like, this is you're protecting, it's how you're protecting yourself. I'm seeing that with the King of Cups energy. And I'm kind of just seeing, I'm seeing something's coming in new. If this hasn't happened already, it's going to happen, which is going to cause like this emotional, just like, oh, you know, this Knight of Cups, just like a little bit emotional, but it's just still exciting. You may either be a victim or savior, but then you still know with the Queen of Cups if it supports you or not. So that's kind of what I'm seeing. It's kind of like this has either come and then you realize this week, no, it doesn't support me. So like it's a no, you kind of get over it. Something new is coming in. So it's like, oh, yeah. something's new's coming in, but you just have to be cautious because we're getting the Virgo energy, and we're just like, does it really support me? Like, it's coming in, but you're still protecting yourself, whatever is coming in. So that's that. Now let's come back to the present moment. The present moment obviously is all that matters, and we'll finish there. So, oh, I didn't even do that thing. If you just take a little quick deep breath with me. Wonderful. So, now that we are back, little ASMR voice. No, but now that we're back, sorry if that has just gone loud. The present moment, I just need you to know that today the moon, we've gone from Taurus into Gemini. So as I was saying, this is where we start off with Gemini. It starts now. As I'm recording this, the moon is on the tip of Taurus's horn, and it's literally touching Auriga. It's touching Auriga. Auriga is in between Gemini and Taurus. It's right there. So that's where the moon is as I'm recording this right now, but by the time you're watching it, it will be in Gemini. And of course today, the 11th, Friday, the sun, that's the sun, not an eye, has moved into Leo. So as I was saying before, our ego is going to begin to attract these Leo experiences to us. So as I was saying, our drive and our passion, Mars, has moved from Leo into Virgo. So it's like how we pay attention to how you kind of were over the past couple months, because these experiences are coming into you now. Okay, these confident experiences, how you had to show up confidently, it's like now you're shining that way, because that's the sun, it's the ego, it's how you're operating. So pay attention to that. It's going to be interesting how this kind of shows up over the next week. And again, the moon, mover of our emotions, we had a what was it, we had obviously the 8-8 day, or the 8 day, should I say? I've gone in the camera again. We've had the 8 day. So the moon, the mover of our emotions, through the 8th, it was touching into Taurus. So it's kind of like our emotions was literally moving us into this new toroidal field, as I was saying. And yeah, it's just pay attention to your life. What happened over the past, since like Monday to Thursday? How was your week? How has it been? Because it was kind of like an energetic imprint of what's to come, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So how was the things, how was your emotions, all of that stuff? What was you just like, nah, this is what I'm ready to accept, this is how I'd like to live my life? Because that's it, you've entered into a new toroidal field. And of course it is finishing off in Gemini today. So it's about that conversation. So if conversations are coming up which possibly will support your idea of your new toroidal field, your new energetic field, you'll probably be more inclined or more interested in conversations that support that. So it's either it matches your idea of your friendships, your idea of your family, your idea of your romantic relationships, your idea of your work. It's things around that nature. Yeah, you're literally talking it. This is the messenger. Pay attention as well, because it being the messenger and it's moving towards a more logic base, the moon. Yes, because we've already switched. We switched here, if you can see in the corner, on the 8th. So we are moving to more logic base. So Gemini being fueled by Mercury, pay attention to the messages that come from now till Sunday. Okay, from now as you're watching this till Sunday, pay attention to the messenger. Because these messages that come, how your emotions get moved from these messages is based around this new energetic frequency you have just entered in. Okay, I don't know, people, but we've been talking about a shift. We've been talking about timeline splitting and all of that stuff. And with how the astrological placements, with the numerology, with the energetic feelings of shit, it's like it's happening now. It's like we're talking through this shift in real time. Okay, this is the new energetic frequency. I'm convinced of it, and it's going to build up when it starts in autumn. Ooh, I'm seeing big shifts as we're going into autumn, because this energy, it's happened now. It's going to build up its momentum for that shift to happen. So be yourself, people. Trust yourself. I love you. I'll see you in my next video. That being said, angel out. Bye. Don't wash my nails.